como foi que tu viesse parar aqui no sepak takraw?
Foi através do futebol que eu conheci esse esporte.
E quem trouxe foi quem te apresentou o esporte, na verdade?
Foi Hilário Nobre da Cunha.
E tu começaste, tivesse dificuldade, quadra, areia, bola diferente?
A dificuldade da bola é diferente, né? O esporte diferente, né? A gente tenta conhecer mais ele um pouco, né?
Tu és um dos mais experientes aqui de Pernambuco, na verdade. Já viajaste vários países. O próximo agora vai ser a França. O que é que tu espera lá?
Espero que a gente saia de lá campeão.
Qual é o principal adversário que vocês vão ter lá?
Malásia.
Por que a Malásia? Qual é o diferencial deles?
Porque ele, né, tem a ginga dele, né? Nas porradas, né? E a gente tem a ginga da gente na habilidade. Né?
O que é que te levou a praticar sepak takraw? Como foi que tu viesse parar aqui?
O que me levou a praticar o sepak takraw foi a superação, né? Gostar de desafios.
E qual foi o principal desafio que tu encontrasse?
Aprender a dar os golpes.
Aprender a dar os golpes. Tu és um dos que mais dá golpe aqui, na verdade. Tu treina, fica treinando fora, como é?
Só treino aqui.
Só treina aqui mesmo, né?
Geralmente quando eu tenho tempo, né? Quando não tenho aula na faculdade, eu dou uma carreirinha pra cá pra praticar.
Quer dizer que jogador de sepak takraw tem que se dividir. Tu trabalha, estuda, treina.
Tem que arrumar um tempinho pra tudo.
E quando tu chega assim pros teus amigos e diz, ó, eu vou pro treino de sepak takraw, o que é que o pessoal diz?
Pergunta que esporte é esse, que é isso? Como é o nome, às vezes não sabe pronunciar direito.
A bola também?
A bola. Como é que tu gosta de jogar um esporte desse, a bola dura, não machuca não? Ficam perguntando direto.
E tu já participaste de competição internacional, na verdade. Tu já foste pra Malásia, França, não é? Qual é o diferencial do jogador brasileiro pro jogador de fora?
Diferencial é o futebol. Usa muito o peito, a cabeçada forte.
Lá eles não usam isso?
Não usam. Lá o esporte deles é bem técnico. Tocou com o pé e o ataque, o golpe. Lá eles não tem o peito como a gente tem aqui no futebol.
Tristan Zara from Romania writes DADA manifestos.
I write a manifesto and I want nothing. Yet I say certain things, and in principle I'm against manifestos, as I'm also against principles. The principle, love thy neighbor, is an hypocrisy. Know thyself is utopian but more acceptable, since it embraces wickedness. No pity. Even after this carnage, we still retain the hope of a purified mankind. I speak only for myself, since I do not wish to convince. I have no right to drag others into my river. I am against action. For continuous contradiction, for affirmation too, I am neither for nor against. And I do not explain because I hate common sense. Some people think they can explain rationally, by thought, what they think. But that is extremely relative. Psychoanalysis is a dangerous disease. It puts to sleep the anti-objective impulses of man and systematizes the bourgeoisie. The dialectic is an amusing mechanism which guides us in a banal kind of a way to the opinions we had in the first place. To make a Dadaist poem, take a newspaper, take a pair of scissors. Choose an article as long as you are planning to make your poem. Cut out the article. Then cut out each of the words that make up the article and place in a bag. Shake gently. Then take out each of the scraps, one after the other, in the order in which they left the bag. Copy conscientiously. The poem will be like you. And here you are, a writer. Infinitely original and endowed with a sensibility that is charming, though beyond the understanding of the vulgar.
Seriously, though, we've heard a lot about extremism recently, a nastier, harsher atmosphere everywhere, more abuse and bother-boy behavior, less friendliness and tolerance and respect for opponents. All right, but what we never hear about extremism is its advantages. Well, the biggest advantage of extremism is that it makes you feel good, because it provides you with enemies. Let me explain. The great thing about having enemies is that you can pretend that all the badness in the whole world is in your enemies and all the goodness in the whole world is in you. Attractive, isn't it? So, if you have a lot of anger and resentment in you anyway, and you therefore enjoy abusing people, then you can pretend that you're only doing it because these enemies of yours are such very bad persons. And that if it wasn't for them, you'd actually be good-natured and courteous and rational all the time. So, if you want to feel good, become an extremist. Okay, now you have a choice. If you join the hard left, they'll give you their list of authorized enemies. almost all kinds of authority, especially the police, the city, Americans, judges, multinational corporations, public schools, furriers, newspaper owners, fox hunters, generals, class traitors, and, of course, moderates. Or, if you'd rather be an extremist on the hard right, no problem, fine, you still get a lovely list of enemies, only they're different ones. Noisy minority groups, unions, Russia, weirdos, demonstrators, welfare sponges, meddlesome clergy, peaceniks, the BBC, strikers, social workers, communists, and, of course, moderates. And upstart actors. Now, once you're armed with one of these super lists of enemies, you can be as nasty as you like and yet feel your behaviors morally justified. So you can strut around abusing people and telling them you could eat them for breakfast and still think of yourself as a champion of the truth, a fighter for the greater good, and not the rather sad paranoid schizoid that you really are. And all this explains what we've seen at party conferences. Everyone's sitting there looking grim and bored, and then a speaker gets up with real fire in his belly as well as dyspepsia, and he says, "The other party really are the most awful bunch of rotters, the most left-wing or right-wing bunch there's ever been in this great country of ours, and it would be a disaster if they ever got into power, or held on to power. That's all we must get into power, or hold on to power, but that's going to be a tremendous fight, a terrific struggle, and we can't relax and enjoy ourselves. No, we must struggle and fight and fight, and struggle and struggle and struggle, and fight against these enemies, and then struggle a little bit more at the end of that." And then the speaker goes and sits down, and there's a lovely warm glow throughout the hall, as if they'd all had tea and crumpets. And everyone looks relaxed and happy and simply radiant with goodwill. Although, if the speaker had said, "We must all have lots of fun and be nice to each other and cooperate in solving problems," they'd probably have lynched him, or deselected him, or taken all his directorships away. Because attacking our enemies always makes us feel good and excited. In fact, just about the only disadvantage to extremism is that it can never solve problems. But then solving problems is a real bore compared with hailing victory and swearing to smash capitalism and crush socialism and generally feeling good. I mean, solving problems involves frustrating things like listening to people with different views and learning from them.